Well, since we don't get to talk to you every week, I might as well just take a big picture approach and say, what are your feelings about what you've seen from your defense over the first half of the season?
I think we've improved. I think they kind of have a better understanding of what we want to do. I think especially in the run fit structure. I think early on there were some issues, kind of got ironed out a little bit, and then I've been pretty pleased with how the back ends come together too. I think we've done a good job with those guys, piecing in some new players back there. So I think we made good progress the last few weeks.
We'll go back behind the lights on the left side to Tyler.
Jay, talking on the backside that you've seen with those new players, specifically Will Lee, what have you seen from him, what he's kind of brought to this team, and just maybe even the improvement throughout this season that you've seen?
I think, he's a really talented kid. We knew that when we got here. He's worked really hard. I was talking to Jordan Peterson this afternoon about him. Yeah, I just think he's playing with, when you play DB, you've got to have a little bit of an edge to you. You've got to have, he's a confident kid. I think he's played really well the last few weeks. And so I think he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. And I think that's awesome. And we asked him to play a lot of man coverage. And I think he's really improved. But I think he's done a great job of learning football. And I think that's where it's starting to show up is I think he's understanding situations down in distances, things that maybe before he would just go out there and just kind of play. I think now he's understanding that more. And I think he's really improved a ton. I think he's playing at a really high level.
We'll stay on TV row and go to the right side to Ben.
Coach, talking about, figuring out exactly how you want to go about things. With the defensive front, obviously so many options. But beyond just simply, rotating guys in and out, how have y'all tried to, maximize what you can get from that unit with obviously a lot of talent there?
Yeah, so I think, Shamar Stewart and Nick Scorton are like their problems on the edge a little bit, right, in the run game. And so I think the problem is they can't play the whole game. And so I think, Sean's done a great job. Tony's done a great job of managing, because we're a little bit different when Cassius is in there or Ryland, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I think we've got some really good players. I think the depth that D tackle has really developed. I thought Rodas Johnson played great Saturday. So I think, the unit itself has come along. We're playing more guys now, which I think is making the frontline guys fresher and more successful later in the game. But I think, in the run game, we've been able to isolate some one-on-ones for some of the bigger edge players, and I think that's been really good for us.
We'll go front row on the left side to Cease and then Alex.
By numbers, Dalton Brooks has had good tackles the last two games. That doesn't mean he's played well. So the question is, has he played well, and how much did that targeting timeout maybe slow him up a little bit?
Yeah, I think the time away hurt him a little bit. It hurt him from a preparation standpoint. When a kid's going to miss a half, it affects how many reps you give him in practice. But no, I think he's played tremendous the last weeks. He's a weapon in the run game now. You talk about an eraser. You talk about a guy who's the extra run defender. Some of the things Dalton's doing for us it's really impressive. And he's a really good player, man. That play he made on the goal line Saturday, I thought was an elite play. And so I think, every NFL scout that comes through here, they ask me about him. He jumps out at you when you watch his practice. He jumps out at you when you watch the tape. Really athletic, and he's doing a really, really good job in the run game for us.
We'll stay on the left side, second row to Alex.
Yeah, now that you're 6 games into this system and structure, what do you really like about it and the way that it functions? You get to call the defense.
I think we do a really, really good job of isolating the up front one-on-ones for the front four players and allow them to play. I think so many times you get bogged down with they've got to do this, they've got to do that in order to protect people. And I think it's a little bit more of an attacking mindset, a little bit more of when you're one-on-one with the front, and we've got really good players. So when you do that, they create a lot of negative plays. They create a lot of zero plays. You don't handcuff them in the transition from run to pass. I think that's been really good. And then look, we rushed the passer on first and second down better Saturday than I think we have. And so I think now you start to see the coverage. Now the coverage is holding up longer. And so I think you add those two things together, it becomes a really good mix. But I think we've got coverage answers. We got about every coverage known to man. So every week we kind of narrow it down to what we think is appropriate for that week, and I think allow the front to play. And that's been pretty good for us.
And nickel seems to be such a pivotal position in this defense. Losing Chappell obviously was a big loss for you guys. Just how have you seen Jaden and now BJ emerging at that position?
Yeah, I'm really proud of BJ, man. we kind of went to him after Tyreek got hurt and said, hey, look, what do you think about this? I think it could help you in the long run. He's really embraced it. He's done a good job. Jaden's been with me for a while, so like I know, I kind of know the kind of player he is, guy that I trust, and I think those two kids have done a really good job. Obviously, Tyreek's a special player, right? And so I think some of the things we had built into the defense was with the idea that you had Chappell out there who could go play man on a slot and allow you to tilt the coverage and tilt the run game in different ways. So we had to adjust a little bit quickly, but I'm really proud of those two kids and really, really proud of BJ.
We'll go second row on the right side to Carter and then Olin.
Jay, what were kind of the biggest reasons for the run defense issues early in the season, and then how have you guys been able to improve it so much?
Yeah, so I think Notre Dame, we misfit three things. The first one, the long touchdown against Notre Dame, the first one, we missed a tackle and it got out on us on the perimeter. So I think we've been able to, take that and learn from it, like some of the perimeter run support, like not letting the ball get to. I talk to them all the time, like don't let the ball get to big field, right? Don't let the ball cross the nickel's face. Don't let the ball cross the corner's face. So I think that's been better. We misfit a few things at linebacker early on. I feel like we're fitting the run better, a little bit better at linebacker. And I think our kids have a better understanding now of how we want to take on certain blocks. And like I was saying earlier, I think the ability to let the front hunt one-on-ones, you create more negative plays that way. And so I think all those things have factored in. I really felt like after the Notre Dame, I wasn't concerned after Notre Dame, like about our run defense because I knew we had good players. I was more concerned like, hey, look, we got to get these guys to execute every single play. And I think when we've done that, it's been really good. And then we've been fortunate, I think, the last 3 or 4 weeks to get a little bit of an advantage on people and to kind of get after the run game a little bit earlier where I think they kind of say, okay, let's focus on throwing it a little bit more because it hasn't been successful. So I think as we've kind of tightened down some of the run fits at linebacker, kind of some of the perimeter run fits, it's allowed the D-line to be a little bit more of a factor.
And then Dezz Ricks has cracked the starting lineup last couple of weeks. Just what have you kind of seen from him, and how did he earn that starting job? I know it's not permanent.
Yeah, I mean, none of them are permanent, right? But Dez is really talented. I think when him and Will are out there, those are two big, long, athletic kids. JT was doing great. I think like the bye weeks coming at a really good time for him because I think he was battling through some DB. Like DBs, them guys, those guys run a lot. And so I think getting him to a position now where he can kind of get a week to rest a little bit will be big. But I think Dez has really worked really hard. He's got a lot of ability, and so I think it was just a matter of time before he was going to play more and more and more. And then I think we made the decision before Arkansas, and then I think he played really well. He had a couple things Saturday that we'd like to clean up, but when he's out there playing man coverage, man, he's pretty good at it.
We'll stay on that second row on the right side to Olin.
Actually, Coach, I was going to ask you the same question you asked about the run defense and the strides they've made since Notre Dame. So I'll just ask: has there been? Look, obviously, you guys know the players that are good players, and whatnot. But has there been anybody that has progressed maybe faster than you anticipated or expected, or anybody make a bigger impact than maybe you've originally anticipated?
Yeah, so I think about Rodas Johnson the last few weeks has really, really come along. A veteran player who I think was getting used to playing a very different style up front. We were a little bit more attacking, a little bit more, when you're one-on-one than he was used to. I think he's really done a nice job for us inside. Like if you tell me from day one to now, I think Albert Regis is playing at as high a level as any of our guys, right? Just the consistency, the power, he's playing at a really, really high level. So, those two guys jump out at me. And then I think Dalton Brooks, I think the improvement he's made, how much of a weapon he's become in the run game for us, those guys jump out at me right now.
We'll go front row on the right side to Brent.
I'll ask you the personal question. How have you and the family adjusted to College Station in terms of what have you liked most about it, maybe not liked most about it, and also coaching defense at Kyle Field, what that experience has been like?
So, my family, we feel really, really fortunate to be here. People have been awesome. The schools for my kids have been awesome. So that part's been great. Coaching defense at Kyle Field is pretty cool. I got a bunch of text messages Saturday after that game saying a lot of places you play, Coach Klein just walked in, so I can take a little shot at him. All they care about is how many points you scored, And so I think this is one of those places where they like defense, right? They like guys flying around, and obviously Coach Slocum's history with that is pretty well known, So it's when you're in the press box, you don't realize how loud it is. You know, but like my daughter and my wife tell me after every game, like, you know, like this place is loud, you know. And so I think, yeah, the excitement we had, the players I get to coach here on defense, like how they come to work every day, how they work, and having to be a chance to coach those kids at Kyle Field is really is humbled.